The more you know. It's Film Threat on a Friday. Today, reviews of Wicked for Good, Sisu 2, Rental Family, and more, plus a very special interview with Kevin Smith. That's right, that Kevin Smith. He's going to talk to us and answer your questions live, and plus lots of news. So let's go. Late as usual.
I'm really busy at the moment with Dr. Doom, but I'll say it, Alan.
Hey,
You're here.
Long time no see.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God. We hung out like every night, nearly every night this week.
I know. Well, that'll end soon.
We promised an out of the theater reaction to Wicked and at Wicked for Good. And after you and I saw it, we looked at each other and it was just like, nah, let's not do it. Like, no. So
well, it was late.
It was late, and I don't know. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Everything surrounding the movie.
Yeah, the event we were at.
The food and drinks and the sort of fun atmosphere. The movie, different story, which I think tells you even if you buy Alan a pizza, a Wicked pizza, and make it wicked, which means you put on sausage and pepperoni. That won't improve his opinion.
I know. It's the Alphaba pizza, and to make it wicked, you put sausage and pepperoni on it.
I could make a joke about sausage, but I'm not going to. But we have a big show today and lots to do. So let's see who's here. Here we go.
All right. Suns and Shadows cast. Chris, coffee, pool time. Chris, 1.5 cups in. I bet you're right.
No, you're off by one. I'm only half a cup in. It's not looking good. Thanks, Suns and Shadows.
I mean,
I appreciate it.
What time did you get home last night?
Late.
Yes.
Very late.
Beach Dad 1. Good morning, all my fellow film nerds.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, fellow film nerds. We're going to talk about Wicked for Good. Olo Liu Kui, remember that a slave can be trained as an actor, which makes a slave more inherently valuable than an actor.
I like that observation.
I need context on that one. Johnny Trejo, 911. Good morning, gentlemen. What is going on with the women in Wicked? They need to eat a hamburger because the two ladies are too skinny.
They look, especially we saw the movie, and it didn't look like them. It didn't look like how they look.
I hate to say it, but Cynthia Erivo is more attractive as Elphaba than she is in her real life.
Yeah, she's better green, I guess.
I know. Jeff Romatics for 5. The interviews for Wicked are so weird. Is there a gas leak everywhere they interview at?
Well, it's funny that they stopped them from doing it. I guess Ariana's sick, or I don't know.
Ariana got COVID, and then I think Cynthia lost her voice or something like that.
COVID. That's like a dog ate my homework. I mean, COVID is a cold, right? Wait, am I not supposed to say that? What? I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's
now we're gonna get that COVID
oh no
advisory on our
oh no. Oh no, but yeah, they are weird, and I think they're turning people off. Anyways, D Goodhart.
Member for 19 months. Good morning, boys. I've been a member for 19 months.
Thank you for being a member. And by the way, it's the holiday season. We're doing giveaways for members only. We do this every year. So watch the members only community tab, and you're going to get there's special things coming. So thank you, D Goodhart. Alan,
okay, sorry. I'm posting that we're interviewing Kevin Smith. Infinity Media Productions 4350. What is with the jacket, Gore?
All right. Well, let me show you. I got this jacket, which I assume is from the play, at the Rose Bowl swap meet in Pasadena for $3.
Oh, well spent.
And it's It's damn ugly, but it's actually warm, which I
Well, hold
like.
on.
So.
Go big again, because you can tell
Yeah,
by the typeface where the ED and the Wick. It's like
yeah.
Wick Ed. Yeah, it's a fake shirt. Yeah,
Is it fake?
it has to be. I mean, look at the iconography on your shirt.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like
Look,
a huge gap between the K and the E.
it's actually very comfortable. So I'm gonna leave it there. And from Lord Thothy, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, sign up as a member. Please do lots of members only content, videos, giveaways, access to our Discord. Join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com. And just launched today. Use code FT HOHO 10 for 10% off. That will be a limited sale. FT HOHO 10 for 10% off. And on the our shop right now, you can see that we actually have Wicked inspired shirts. We've got Award This, the Oscars can suck it. And our Black Friday sale is here early, and we have Film Threat inspired Wicked shirts that you got pink and green.
Yeah.
Pink or green, choose your poison. Wicked awesome shirts. Yeah, we're taking advantage. So limited sale. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. FT HOHO 10. So there you go. And thank
FT
you.
ho ho.
Hey, thank you, Lord Thothy.
Yeah, and Pilgrim Media for 2 says, Chris, you don't look gay at all wearing that.
Yeah, I don't. Thank you for saying so. Speaking of that, I mean, speaking of
Being gay.
this shirt and everything,
By the way, it's cold, and so I got the sweatshirt. So,
you do have this good.
yeah.
Let's see. Nice.
There.
Yeah, I'll just, you know what? I'm going to create a banner for this. So Alan and I went to the Alamo Drafthouse in Los Angeles. And they do this thing at the Alamo called the movie party. And we went to the one for Elf last year. It was a freaking blast.
Yeah,
They have like themed food and drinks. They have like, they do giveaways. They do like trivia and a contest.
We got snowballs that we could throw at each other.
We got snowballs and hats, and it was goofy and a lot of fun. And they did one for Wicked for Good. And I'm gonna show you. They did this little contest,
Costume contest,
a costume contest, and I wore this. And I don't know if you can hear what I say in here, but let's watch this.
My name is Chris. I'm a straight Wicked fan. I love the movie, and my favorite character is whoever Bowen Yang plays, because my best friend is Asian.
Yeah.
Why? It's a true story.
There were so many stereotypes in that one answer.
Well, there you go. So
yeah. Oh, we gotta, because then you voted as to who had the best costume. And okay. Hold on, let me recreate the applause Chris got.
I think one
that
person
was from me.
One person, and it was you. My goal was to piss off the audience, and
yeah, you did.
yeah. Okay, so that happened, but whatever. We had a great time. I think everything surrounding the movie was super fun. The drinks, they had a green drink like Emerald City that was, pineapple juice and rum, and then they had like the food was themed like you get a Alphaba pizza or and make it wicked which means you add sausage. Read into that, whatever.
Well,
but
she was GQ Man of the Year, so
well, yeah, that's true. It was super fun, and the movie, because look, I've seen the first Wicked with an audience. It didn't get the reaction. It's kind of a downer. We will review it later, but this these movie parties are a blast. I think I'm gonna try to get one to Elf, but it's really hard to get tickets because the seating is limited at the Alamo. But I like that there's no refreshment stand. You just order stuff from your seat.
Yeah.
And they bring it to you.
Weirdly, Alamo is starting to become one of my favorite places to go to. Even if I have to drive into downtown LA.
Yeah, the only drawback of the LA Alamo Drafthouse is the location, which is in the middle of crappy downtown LA.
Yeah.
So, but we had a great time. We had a great time.
They need to open one in Orange County.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go there over the holidays because it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot to get to, Alan. So let's start. We Bury the Dead. We're going to react to a couple of new trailers that just dropped. I have not seen this.
I don't even know what this is.
Okay. I'm going to assume We Bury the Dead zombies. I don't know. Let's go. I got to say, actually, this is the first Daisy Ridley movie that looks really good. The first movie she's been in post Star Wars where the movie looks decent. And
The Cleaner wasn't.
No, The Cleaner was awful, Alan. But I'm sure on the press tour, people will, every person that interviews her is going to ask about Star Wars. But this actually looks like a decent zombie movie, a different take. So
yeah,
I like
it's the most unique take in a long time, according to the.
It's not unique. It's just a different employing citizens to retrieve bodies, and she has ulterior motives for signing up for this. I like what I see enough to see it. Plus January, what's coming out in January? You're gonna see Daisy Ridley on our thumbnail in January on Friday the 2nd when we review this movie.
Yeah.
So,
I love the fact that she's trying to go the action route, and I believe one day she'll get there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Another trailer. It's here. Alan, we saw a tease for Hoppers. We now have a full trailer from Pixar. Can Pixar do it again? And by that, I mean disappoint.
You mean Elio?
Yeah, but the full trailer for Hoppers has dropped. Here it is on X from the official Pixar account.
Okay, it's coming out in March.
It's coming out in March. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're an animation expert.
I'm a Pixar. I've been a Pixar fan from the very beginning.
You're a Disney super fan. You have the knowledge of history. What do you think of this trailer? Let's watch it together.
Doc, I need your help. Mabel, I'm in the middle of class. A class that you are enrolled in.
Sup, Mabel?
Come with me. The traditional methods to understand animals just weren't working.
No
But we've done it, Mabel. We created a revolutionary technology that gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We call it Hoppers. Huh? We put this into this. Yes, this into this.
Avatar.
Mabel, be careful! Whoa. And they were in the same den.
No.
I understand you.
What you doing, lady?
This is incredible!
Hey, what's your name, Beaver?
Mabel?
You want to live here, you better learn pond rules.
What are pond rules?
Oh, I am clearing the rest of the day. Let's hear it for Mabel, everyone. Rule number 1, don't be a stranger. Looking good, Fran. Tom, Laquan, Tamara, Prudence, Pete, Peter, Petey.
Yeah, it's crowded, but we're still alive.
Rule number 2, when you gotta eat, eat.
How did he get a little crown?
That's your question? Fellow animals! The humans have stolen their last inch of land from us.
There he is.
We gotta fight back!
She seems to have become a Joan of Arc type rebel leader.
Mabel, we do not use hopping technology to upset the animal world. She found the button. The Animal Council has been summoned. The shrill beaver is right.
Yeah!
Their treachery ends here. Now!
Yeah!
Let's squish the humans.
Yeah!
Wait, squish?
They squish us! Why shouldn't we squish one of them?
I really don't think we need to go all the way to squish.
That was intense.
Interesting.
Over here!
Your life is in danger. You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean, Jerry. Drive now. Rocket ship.
Okay, it's part
Interesting.
Avatar. Like, it's about going into an animal robot body so we can communicate with animals. And this activist college student encourages the animals to rebel against humans for their treachery. Okay, what do you think, Alan?
Yeah. Okay, so I have sources
Oh, good.
who had told me that Inside Out 2, a little bit of a lesbian relationship brewing in that one, but Andrew Stanton took that out. Little Elio was a little non-binary gay kid, and I think Andrew Stanton took that out. And Hoppers had the same issues, and Andrew Stanton took that out. So good on him for doing that. So if I were to read into the trailer, the interesting thing is, so there's kind of this indigenous idea, that humans took over our land.
Right.
So now we're going to fight back. And then she regrets having stirred people up. That's an interesting theme, because maybe there's a little bit of modernism in there about the young woke kids. Question is that the direction they're going in this movie, or is it
Right.
or is that a plot point for humor? So yeah, we'll see. But I'm seeing the over the hedge comments. Yeah, it looks like they've devolved into I don't know, Pixar animation. The characters look generic now.
Yeah.
And I don't like that direction they're going in.
I mean, watching that trailer just now, the last couple weeks we've watched those Pixar parody trailers that people have been making using AI, and I can't stop thinking of those trailers. When I watch that, they're no different. They are the animation style is perfect in those parody trailers, and it looks just like Hoppers. It's like you said, very generic.
Yeah. Because there used to be a Pixar style that was
Right.
very akin to the Disney style, and the last few since Inside Out 2 and even before that, the character development and character design is, it's kind of like they got rid of all the people who used to know how to do this and brought in people who don't know how to do this. And the jokes in this that we saw are very basic. They used to be that they would throw the storyboard up on a giant wall and let it sit for months, and people would come in and start riffing. And rather than go for the first easy joke, they would go for the third, the fifth, the sixth joke. And here it looks like they're just going for the easy joke.
Yeah. But conceptually, I mean, it's got an interesting idea that kind of mixes Avatar and activism and maybe regretting making the activist choice. So
that's the only bright spot for me right now.
Yeah, but look, it's a step up from Elio. Let's just say that. Toy Story 5 is coming.
Speaking of Pixar,
Toy Story 5 is coming, whether you like it or not. But I, for one, actually, we saw the teaser. It's a very short teaser that gives you some sense of the story. And from the director, I know you have notes for this story, Alan.
Yeah.
It's about they get this box, and they open it up. What's the new toy? What's the new toy? And it's a screen. It is effectively an iPad, so it's going to be some kind of commentary on how kids are playing with modern toys and or not. Alan, this story is from Empire Magazine online. Give me the story.
Yes, well, speaking of director Andrew Stanton, he argues that Toy Story 5 isn't a cash grab or an attempt to rewrite the trilogy's perfect ending. It's about responding honestly to how childhood has changed since 1995. Because of this shift, Pixar felt that there were new stories worth telling, not a repeat of the Andy arc. Stan is careful to stress that Toy Story 3 remains the definitive ending of the Andy storyline. 3 was the end of the Andy years. Nobody's being robbed of their trilogy. He emphasized that fans can keep the original trilogy untouched if they want. Toy Story 5 simply explores what happens after. In a world where toys aren't the center of childhood anymore, tech and screens dominate playtime, and characters must confront their own relevance. Toy Story 5 exists because Pixar feels characters can naturally evolve alongside real-world childhood. The franchise isn't frozen in time. It grows as society grows. You're muted. You're muted.
It's a sad commentary. I mean, one of the things I know we both saw and enjoyed the movie Roofman.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that movie, it takes place in a Toys R Us, and Toys R Us nationally as a chain store doesn't exist. Now, toys still exist, the toy aisle in Target, and other stores, but you're right. You see it in public all the time. You see kids being babysat by screens in public. If you're going to make some kind of commentary on it, maybe Toy Story is a good place to do that. It's certainly interesting. I cringe when I see young parents out to dinner. They're at a table. They're all together. Not only are the parents on their phones, their young child and or toddler has a screen in front of them, mindlessly watching YouTube for Kids or playing some. It's just, look, I know I sound like old man yells at cloud, but I really, having watched Roofman, those Toys R Us scenes, I used to go with my kids to Toys R Us, and they were begging me to get stuff. I'd say, you got to earn it. Occasionally they would earn it, and I would break down. But it was, that whole experience was great. You've got the bike aisles of sports balls, dolls, action figure aisle, the video game section.
The ball cage.
The ball cage. Just so much about just going to a Toys R Us was like engaging with all the toys. Obviously, you got to make a choice and or not buy anything, but that experience has been lost. It's very sad to me. So I don't know if I like the 3 Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 being referred to as the Andy trilogy. It's like referring to the 9 Star Wars films as the Skywalker saga. What are the other movies? What is Solo? What is Mandalorian and Grogu?
It's an original Star Wars story.
I remember when they were going to call them the Star Wars anthology movies, but then they thought people were too stupid to understand what anthology meant. So they called them Han Solo, a Star Wars story, which it's so generic. Right. I just a lot of things about the culture have become generic and corporate and soulless. And I hope that Toy Story 5, I don't want some message hammered over my head, but the irony of all of this is that a lot of kids will watch Toy Story 5 on a screen, commenting on screens.
Okay,
So-
well, to Andrew Stanton's credit, at least he recognizes the importance and the value and the greatness of the first three movies.
Yes.
And he is saying it out loud, unlike everyone else in Hollywood who says, no, we are changing the world, we're changing your trilogy. He says, no, you can keep the first three, lock it in your hearts, and that is the Toy Story trilogy that you love. Like Indiana Jones. I have not seen Crystal Skull. I've not seen Dial of Destiny. To me, Indiana Jones is the first three movies, and and it plays here. And again, here's a studio president who acknowledges that and says that you're allowed to embrace the greatness of those three movies, and we're just gonna continue the story whether you like it or not, or whether you don't need to like them or not, but you still got those three.
Okay. More Disney news here.
I thought we weren't going to talk about this anymore.
Look, we promised that we would never talk about the Acolyte again, but it's time. Leslye Headland has something to say, and we're gonna get right to it. This is from The Wrap, and I'm gonna post the story up here, but she was being interviewed and had some comments about Star Wars fans, about the reaction to the Acolyte. Alan, you've got the notes for the story. Let's take a look at what Headland had to say. Office with a view. I guess they're referring to she has a view about things. I don't know.
Or maybe she has an office with a view.
All right. Well, what does Leslye Headland have to say?
Leslye Headland always understood that the Acolyte was a risky swing for the Star Wars franchise. As Headland puts it, the first one through the wall is always the bloodiest. When the show debuted in 2024, it immediately became the target of racist and sexist online attacks. Was that what that was? Something Headland expected in theory, but was shocked to witness in real time. She had long followed the Star Wars commentary ecosystem on YouTube and Patreon. Oh, that's us. So she recognized many of the creators fueling the backlash. Some she respected, others she considered opportunists, and a portion she saw as outright bigots. Reaction videos, takedowns, recaps, and live streams generate significant ad revenue, often making those commentaries more visible than the show itself. As she bluntly observes, the content being made about Star Wars will be more culturally impactful than actual Star Wars. The series cancellation after one season, public, swift, and unprecedented for a Star Wars show, was disappointing but not shocking to her. What surprised her was the speed and manner in which it was handled. She notes that the show was judged not as a new series, but as but against every other Star Wars title. I think it could have been worth it to allow the audience it was meant for to find it, she reflects. Despite everything, Headland remains proud of the Acolyte. She connects the show's fate to wider industry shifts, including studios pulling back on female-driven and diverse projects. These trends she felt acutely during the show's release year. She holds no regrets, still describing herself as obsessed with Star Wars. Obsessed with all the Star Wars.
I think she is, first of all, she is obviously painfully aware of the criticism, especially on YouTube. But she doesn't seem to be accountable. The show is a bad show. It's just a bad show. It's an awful show that just, she really thought she was doing something revolutionary, and she shouldn't make Star Wars. But it's sad to me that she doesn't say, you know what, I I swung for the fences and didn't really make it. The reaction, it's rare to hear anyone hear the reaction go, oh, you're right. or the fans were right about this. I mean, the ratings should tell you that. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, this is a showrunner, a creator who can't honestly evaluate her own work.
Right.
You know, it you know, she still believes she made the greatest Star Wars television show ever. And she can't understand what people are saying and why it failed. And the complaint that we're comparing it against all other Star Wars. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. She swung for the fences. Yeah. Someone gave her $140 million bat and she swung for the fences and she missed. And this is the problem with the DEI filmmakers and creatives who came out over the last few years, is they believe they did great work and have no ability to look at that work and find fault with it and find out reasons why people didn't watch it. And they have to blame us for their failures, and they have to blame the fact that we didn't like the message they had for their failures. And so she is now hopeless as a creator in the future.
Well, the whole thing is this. If you're doing the traditional way that people did TV, is the TV show is being made as it's airing. Lost, for example, right? When Lost came out, which was a phenomenon, we won't talk about, the ending, but when Lost came out, it was a huge phenomenon, and they're making the show, and the show is airing, and there was a feedback loop.
Right.
And I know that people who worked on that show, they took the feedback very seriously. They would be on message boards about Lost. People were obsessed, and they wanted to address things that they probably overcorrected based on feedback. But, there's a feedback loop of the show comes out, people are able to comment online. You hear what actually the audience is saying. You see the ratings, so you see how the audience feels, and it impacts going forward.
Right.
All the streaming shows like The Acolyte are being made in a vacuum. You make the show, the entire series is done, and then you put it online. There's no chance for the audience to express how they feel through the ratings and or comments.
Yeah. Do you remember how
the reaction? Let me finish.
Yeah.
The reaction is only to attack the audience, which is exactly the wrong reaction. It's being defensive about what you've made rather than making changes to the shows. I mean, look, characters. I remember old sitcoms, right? People became, if a character was popular, like
Fonzie.
They would. Fonzie was a side character that became the main character in Happy Days. Other characters, and that happened a lot through TV. It's like if a minor character became popular, you gave them more scenes or storylines, and that feedback loop was lost with streaming. So I'm not absolving her for making a terrible show, but what I'm saying is the feedback loop changed from we're going to try to give the audience more of what they want to the audience is wrong that they don't like what I have made. They're actually bad people. There are other comments in the story about, fans being racist and whatnot. And the argument I would say always, where were the racist fans when Lando Calrissian came out? They were also clamoring. A character that was introduced in Empire Strikes Back in 1980. Okay. Mace Windu, very popular character. People were excited when Sam Jackson was announced as that character on the Jedi Council in the prequels, whatever you think of that movie.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson.
I was excited when
Windu.
When Newt Gunray, the first Asian character, appeared in Star Wars.
Yes, Newt Gunray in The Phantom Menace. But I'm just saying that the feedback loop came, thank you for this feedback, the ratings and or online commentary and or reviews in newspapers and publications. The feedback loop was, we're going to be responsive in a positive way to your feedback. And if you don't like it, we'll do less of the things you don't like to, you don't like it, you're racist and wrong. This is wrong-headed, and it's I don't know. I think creatives that respond that way are destined to never grow and improve their work. And as far as I'm concerned, anything Leslye Headland does in the future is dismissible for the reason for what she's said about the audience. Alan, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah.
But please.
Yeah. I mean, two things. One is television shows used to get 6 episodes. And if those 6 episodes succeeded, they got 6 more. And then right. Hopefully up to the 20 episode standard that it was. And it was always based on feedback. It was always, okay, how did these 6 episodes do? What can we do to improve it? What do audiences like? What do they don't like? And by the time you got to the end of the first season, you had a well-crafted show. The other thing is, and I've asked the question, I ask this question all the time, but artists, to any artist, are you doing it for the audience or are you doing it for yourself? And it is clear here that she doesn't care about the audience, especially the Star Wars audience. She made a show for herself, saw herself in it, and can't believe people don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with television, especially if you're going to be given $140 million to make your TV show. It's got to be for the audience and not for yourself. It's just continuing waste of Disney money. Failure after failure, $100 million here, $100 million there, and they can't produce. They can only produce 1 or 2 billion-dollar movies. I think they did 2 last year, and then a whole bunch of crap after that.
We've got a few more news stories. We will get to your comments, and then we'll launch in with reviews. We're gonna probably do Wicked. No, we'll do Wicked second. I'm gonna move the order. Sorry about that, Atomic Glory. But let's get right to it. The reason why movies are failing. Matt Walsh, who we have talked about on the show, we are one of the few outlets that actually reviewed his movies, Am I Racist? And What is a Woman? He did some recent commentary about why movies are failing. That the reason why movies are failing that no one is talking about. We're going to take a look at his commentary here. And I want to discuss it. I want to discuss it on the other end, but here's what he has to say, Alan. Here we go.
And of what happened to Hollywood? Why is it falling? Why is it failing? It's really this. It's not it's not the quality of the film mainly. It's not wokeness. Right? That is part of the problem. I mean, that hasn't helped, but it's not really that. It's actually just the phone, right? It's the box that we all carry around and we're just looking at it all day. That's really why. And I would take Hollywood over the endless scroll. I would take the movie business over just the people sitting there doing this all day on their phones, just staring at nothing. Okay, I would take. I don't think that that's better. I really don't. I think it's better to watch a bunch of mindless Hollywood popcorn flicks than spend all day just drooling while you stare at whatever the algorithm feeds you. So that's one thing. And so like I said, we talked about the death of monoculture. Everything is consumed by phones and algorithms, and that's what's happening. And any analysis of this that overlooks that point is overlooking the point. I will say, though, there's one other factor. It's not the biggest, but not the smallest either. And if we're talking about the box office specifically, if we're talking about theaters, there is one other thing killing the box office, killing movie theaters, and that is the quality of the experience. And I don't even just mean the films. I mean the actual experience of the theater itself has declined dramatically. I mean, anecdotally, I have the same anecdotal experience that a lot of people do, which is I don't go to movies nearly as much these days as I used to. Part of that is because there's not as many movies I'm interested in. Part of that is because I'm older now and I got a million kids and everything going on. But also, on the rare occasion when we go, sometimes you go and the experience is just ruined it's a miserable experience, and you're thinking like, I should have just watched this at home. Just wait 3 weeks and it'll be out on Netflix or something. I'll watch it there. 1776 was not.
Yeah. Okay. So, Alan, what do you think about what he said? I'm sorry, I was on my phone while he was saying all that.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
What do I think? I'll always be on the bandwagon of the reason movies are failing is because movies are not being made well. That we are getting a constant stream of bad movies. To his point, though, with the phones and all that stuff, he's right in the sense of because Hollywood is producing bad movies, we are conditioning the younger generation to not want to go to the movie theater and to watch their stuff on phones. And that's, we're heading to that shift where I can no longer say it's bad movies, where I have to admit, we've conditioned kids to no longer see the theatrical experience as something valuable and precious. And to the experience, he's partially right as well. I foolishly went to see Running Man in IMAX and realized after that I didn't need to see it in IMAX. I could have saved my $8 and just saw it on a regular screen.
Yeah.
So, we've got these premium screens and we're not even taking advantage of that. And
Right.
so, as much as I'll continue to harp on the fact that Hollywood is producing junk, I have to also accept the fact that we're being conditioned to not want to go to the theater anymore.
Right. I do believe that phones have hurt people's attention span. I mean, these Pixar parodies, they're what, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. The joke is the title is kind of the punchline. TikTok. We're going to sound like old man yells at cloud, but it has changed people's expectations. And we're not training audiences. So fewer people in the modern audience even have a sense of film history. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't know. And I think that hurts the experience. There's not appreciation for when a film can be challenging. And look, I'm no prude. I like a good exploitation or a trauma horror movie. I mean, we've had Lloyd Kaufman on the show, but I think this is a reason Matt Walsh brings up. It's a reason that's been overlooked, and it's important to note.
Look, I'll make one final comment, but I can only see the lens of the youth through my daughter. It's not that they don't want to see movies, because they're watching the old movies, the classic movies that tell good stories. And weirdly enough, her favorite movie so far this year is Song Sung Blue, which doesn't come out till Christmas, but it's a straight up drama starring Hugh Jackman. He's a flawed human, just trying to overcome adversity to become a great person. And that's a simple story that just resonates with everybody and anybody. So it's not like they don't appreciate great movies. They do. It's just we're not producing them.
Yeah. All right. Let's hang on a sec. Sorry about that. One more thing I'd like to show you that kind of relates to the Matt Walsh clip we just watched. Death of Monoculture. I'm not going to say anything. We're just gonna put up this clip. Okay. It's going to put up this clip, and this is Dana White, and he talks about, they're talking on a podcast about monoculture. So here we go.
So there's this thing that's happening where like you keep on grabbing another thing to build up to be the biggest thing in the world, right? And are you afraid that if you don't have a thing to make the biggest thing in the world, that like you'll just die or something? Like, I'm genuinely curious.
So what happened to me was, my whole Gary Brecka story. I met Gary Brecka.
I know it.
Got my health in order. And, and once that happened, once that happened, it changed everything. I
gotta ask, is this the right clip?
I hope
Is this
so.
the right clip, Lori? Okay, I'm gonna keep it going.
It's
sorry
just
about that.
you're just talking over each other. That's the
Yeah. Okay.
So now you got your life back.
I feel like I'm fucking 30 again.
Right.
And I want to take on more things, and yeah, I enjoy doing it.
Okay, so I'm curious your take on this. Like, you've seen a lot of movies struggling, I imagine, recently.
Literally been talking about this for 2 days.
I love this. Okay, good. Okay, let's get into this because this is it's one of my favorite topics, especially recently.
He's been talking about this for 3 days at least.
It's not just
fascinating.
It's not just movies. I think we're no longer existing in what we grew up with, which was monoculture. A thing happened and everyone was aware of it. There was much less outlets and there's much less overall conversation. Now things have become so siloed, and now specifically like the difference between TikTok and Instagram, like Instagram is the people you follow and their content. TikTok, you don't even have to follow anybody. It's just what the algorithm sends you. It has really kind of diversified our knowledge set. And movies, there's an issue obviously because like going to the theater is kind of antiquated, but it's not even that it's antiquated. It's like everybody doesn't know about the same thing. And I'm very curious your take on this because you put on events. How do you find a way in a place where we are divided into 1,000 different silos to get everybody on board with a singular event?
So think about this. So when we were kids, you had a handful of studios, right? And all these scripts would come into these studios and they would pick the best of the best. Those were the movies that they invested in and they made. So I saw this thing on social media not too long ago, was showing like the summer lineup. Remember, so you had the Christmas lineup, Thanksgiving, summer.
Summer was Will Smith. We watched Will Smith take over 4th of July every single year.
It was, you had like a summer where, Top Gun and like every movie was like, holy shit, those are all badass classic movies. Now there's so much fucking garbage being made because there's so many different ways to consume content, whether it's, the streaming services or social media or whatever it is. I think that, they're just pumping out a lot of garbage now. And like, I agree with 100% with what you said. We're not all aligned like we used to be. And, because if a blockbuster movie was coming out,
you would fucking hear about it.
Everybody knew. And it was a must see. You got to go see it at the theater.
It would be packed, right? Sell out. You couldn't get tickets.
Exactly.
And if you weren't there, you felt a little bit of FOMO, right? There was like this sensation of everybody's going to see this thing and I'm not there.
You saw it. I didn't see it. No, you didn't see it. It's fucking great. Now I got to go see it. Right? There's absolutely none of that shit. I don't even know when new movies come out. Dude. But I will tell you this, in the car, we were just driving over here and on my Instagram was so I was telling this story like a couple months ago around the Crawford Canelo fight. So I had just discovered this new artist who I think is going to be big. Her name is Billie Eilish. And there's this video of her. And I guess it's right when she came out. Everyone was busting my balls on social media because I didn't know the Reading Festival was in England. And but she comes out. She's a young kid that wrote this song probably in her fucking bedroom and comes out. And I don't know if you've ever seen this video, the Reading Festival of her, and she sings that song Bad Guy. It's fucking awesome. I love when creative people create something and the whole fucking world just
consume it.
There's this thing about when it hits and everybody's into it. That's just really cool.
Yeah, I see his point there. Okay, so Alan, what do you think about what he said? I mean, he's right.
Yeah,
there is no monoculture or urgency to go see the big blockbuster, even though, despite what Alan and I will tell you about Wicked for Good, it will dominate the box office this weekend. But Alan, what's your take on that?
What's my take? He's right. I think the issue is it's not that great scripts aren't being made, but now when the studio gets a hold of the great script, it's like, does the lead character have to be white? And now you just start muddling this great script down into garbage. That will everybody be able to see themselves at some point in this movie? I mean, think about it. Really, what is that great movie this year? and I will submit that it is probably F1.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single other film that brought people together than F1.
Yeah, but I still know a lot of people haven't seen it.
I know, and that's
weird.
the problem with the movie industry right now, because but the thing about F1 is it went to theaters and stayed in theaters for months. Can't say that about any.
And they brought it back even.
Mm-hmm.
It was kicked out of IMAX screens and came back.
Yeah. I mean, they would slip it back. My local theater would slip it back into the IMAX theater once in a while, especially when there wasn't anything good, and they would just show let's put F1 back in IMAX.
Let's go to commentary, your comments, and then we will get right to our reviews.
All right. The Morak for $4.99. Speaking of new trailers, Project Hail Mary with over 10 million views in 2 days. Meanwhile, Mando and Grogu trailer hasn't hit 10 million in 2 months. Oh, is there a Mando and Grogu trailer?
Yeah, nobody seems to care. I haven't seen it in a theater yet. But yeah, you're right. That gives me hope. People want something new.
People want hope. Pilgrim Media for $2. It's a furry movie. That's Hoppers.
Yeah, Hoppers looks like a furry movie. 100%.
Yeah, but kids like animals. Nick XH69, member for 20 months. Hey, it's been a while.
Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for 20 months. It's like we're going steady now.
Lord comment for 2. Hi, Chris Gore. The best scripts are always someone else's.
Probably. Yeah. I would say
Infinity Media Productions for 5. If the general movie audience would help support indie filmmakers, you could get original, better movies. That's what I'm trying to do with my films. Absolutely.
We'll send it our way, Infinity Media, when you're ready.
Steven Angiano for $1.99. Don't forget about Sinners, Alan. Yeah, but I'm talking about Sinners was great, but it didn't have the global impact that F1 had. Beersaurus Rex. I think it was Paul Chato that was saying she's more upset she lost her vehicle for her messaging than the show itself. Probably.
Absolutely. About Leslye Headland. Agreed. Paul Chato, great commentary. He will be back on Versus soon. Maybe Monday. I'll ask him.
Maybe. Yeah, because I can't wait to hear what he has to say about Wicked. Jim T, 9245. Disney's ownership of Star Wars has been a failure, a poor decision at every turn. How about add Marvel to it? Add the Muppets to it?
Yeah.
Add Fox to it?
Marvel held, because Marvel wasn't owned by Disney at the beginning. The first Iron Man was Paramount.
Yeah, the first Avengers movie was Paramount.
Yeah, so it was when Disney kind of got its hands on Marvel that it changed. But yeah, the Star Wars sequels are a failure on almost every level.
The nerd far away. Maybe kids aren't playing with toys as much because adults are buying them for collections. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There is the adult market of collectors. When I go to the toy aisle at Target, you know who I see there? Other adults like me.
Yeah. What's funny is like when my daughter was young, I had my collectibles on the shelf like this, and she would just grab one and hold it up, and I go, "Yeah, you can open
it." Yeah, fair.
Movies America for 2. Sinners was Fright Night, directed by Spike Lee.
That's one take. I think it's a little more than that, but yeah, fair.
I know. I wish I could meet him one day and talk to him. Megan R. Kelly. I mean, isn't that the theme of the first movie? Kids caring about the new fancy flashing toy with laser powers or whatever. Exactly. And I think that's why I think that's why there is a 5th movie, because the trend of toys is changing, and it's interesting to see how the Toy Story gang reacts to that, or what happens to them as a result of that.
Yeah, that's a fair observation. But this is different. Screens are different, I think.
Toy Story 2 was collectibles.
Yeah.
You know? Tony Elias. Illumination and DreamWorks are destroying Disney. The Wild Robot had a gorgeous, unique art style and a heartfelt story. Pixar hasn't had something like that since Coco back in 2017.
Yeah, Coco is so good.
Yeah, Wild Robot was Chris Saunders, who did Lilo and Stitch. You know, it's these old Disney storytellers that seem to be doing it right. Caveat Ties, We Bury the Dead. Is that a documentary about the making of Disney Star Wars?
It is. It is. That's a great title for that documentary.
Yeah. Tony Elias, January is the month where films go to die.
Yeah, well, but guess who's gonna review it? These guys. We are. We're gonna review it.
And again from Tony Elias, Daisy Ridley has not had pretty much any success after Rise of Skywalker, especially compared to other sequel trilogies like Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver.
Yeah, those actors have gone on. I mean, they did great work before. They're continuing doing great work. Daisy Ridley has not found her stride.
But they're giving her a chance. You got to say that. Bulbasaur Brutal, Woke Zombies. Yeah, because only you can only kill the white ones.
Oh no. Oh no. So hey, we've got some films to review. We got Kevin Smith coming on in 30 minutes. So let's start reviewing movies. Alan, are you ready?
Yeah, we hate everything. We do. Did you see this?
I did not see Rental Family yet. At the top of my list. Alan, tell me about Rental Family.
Yeah, give me one moment here as I pull up my notes. Sorry, here we go. I got it. Pisses me off. Yeah. So in Rental Family, Brendan Fraser plays Philip. He's an American actor who's making a living in Japan. He does commercials, TV shows, things like that, often portraying the token white guy. But he's kind of on the bubble right now. He's not getting the roles he wants, the serious roles, and no one's making any offers. So he goes to the next the next offer, which comes from the Rental Family company, and they offer him the role to basically be hired to play people in the lives, playing actual people. It's difficult to explain it, but he is hired to engage with people in real life, and using improvisational skills, he becomes that person. For example, the first job he has is an attendant at a funeral of a man who wants to hear his friends say good things about him. So he's dead. He pretends to be dead at his funeral, and then all his friends and families come out. He plays one of those guys. Through a little bit of convincing, he then goes on, plays the groom of a woman who gets married only to satisfy her parents, because they're afraid that she'll never get married. And in fact, she's lesbian and wants to be with her girlfriend. And then finally he decides, okay, I'm going to go full in. And he takes two jobs. One is to be the father of a little girl whose father left long ago. The mother needs him to portray the father so that she can get into a good school. The thing is, the girl she tells the girl that he is her actual father. The second one is a famous Japanese filmmaker, and he plays a interviewer, a journalist, who is sent to basically pretend to write an article about that person's life, and in a way establish a relationship with him. This is a very sweet movie. It's a very emotional movie. Everything you think is wrong with what they're doing is taken into account in this story. The idea that he is portraying the father of a girl and the girl thinks that he is her actual father, there are ramifications to that, and this movie plays that out. And it's a very good movie. And it's not a blockbuster, but it will touch your heart.
Well, I can't wait to see this film. So you're giving it a recommendation.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I can't wait to see. What's that?
I'll give it an 8. Go ahead.
An 8. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's high praise. I really, the trailer actually gets me choked up.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman who directed this also did the TV show Beef.
Okay.
Yeah. Her name is Hikari. So, she has an unusual way of looking at things. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I
And that's something that's missing in Hollywood. is people with a perspective, people willing to take on a tough. I mean, the setup is very problematic, and she just takes that idea and goes with it, explodes it. There are other characters in this and other roles that are being played, and it's a very smart script, and that's something again we're missing a lot now.
Yeah, well, this is at the top of my list to see. Can't wait to see it, and I thought you might like it, so I'm glad to hear that.
A lot of Asians in it, not a lot of diversity.
That's good. Let's go to comments. We have one comment.
The nerd far away. I'd watch this. I tend to like that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's in theaters.
I am going to see it in a theater. I actually do have a screener for it, and I will not be watching the screener. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of screeners, and it's like I want to see it in a theater. I don't want to see it on my TV.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, it's time. It is absolutely time.
Wicked.
It's time to talk Wicked for Good. Alan, you and I are fans of the first movie, and
In the musical.
I think actually when the trailers for the first movie came out, I was skeptical. I was like, "Ooh, Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, what is this?" And we were pleasantly surprised. I think a lot of that is that the first half of the play is the best part, right? You reach the high with defying gravity, ending it, the sort of cliffhanger nature of what's going to happen to the characters after all of this. And I think you and I were surprised that we like the first Wicked. Wicked for Good, I'll say, is accurate to the second half of the play,
In
which
every
is
way.
in every way. The songs are not as catchy. The new songs are really not good. It's sort of dark and depressing, and there are other things that don't work about it because we saw it on Wednesday. I've had more time to think about it. I mean, Cynthia Erivo as Alphaba and Ariana Grande as Glinda, they've got more chemistry than the love interest. The two of them, the two women, have more chemistry.
Which is true of the play. Let's be honest.
Right. But Jonathan Bailey as Piero, it's a tragic love triangle, but there is no chemistry whatsoever. He's merely a tool. It's really about their relationship, Glinda and Alphaba. I'm a big fan of the play, but I felt the same way as when I saw the play. It's, what is this second half? You're kind of like, in a way, like Wicked, the first movie, is a prequel to the events of The Wizard of Oz. And the second half of the play rushes to the end. I mean, rushes.
It feels like it's a reason just to wrap things up after the first act.
It's kind of like it's also retconning and being consistent with the movie The Wizard of Oz, with Judy Garland. It's like a commentary on that. Oh, didn't you know, behind the scenes, this is what really happened when the witch got water thrown on her, right? Like and it happens like concurrently with the events of The Wizard of Oz. And I mean, there are really no spoilers. If you care about spoilers, we won't get too deep into it. But one thing I asked Alan, who's seen it now twice, 3 times.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing it again tonight.
Okay.
I have a wife who really wants
okay. You're forgiven. Dude, you never see Dorothy's face. I thought that they would have expanded, because the flaw of the second half of the Broadway play is that they rush all the events. They rush everything. I thought, well, now you've got, it's twice as long as the second half of the play, the Broadway play, Wicked for Good, right? It's 2 hours, 17 minutes. The second half of the play is like an hour, less than an hour. They could have expanded upon some of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never see like the Cowardly Lion has like 3 lines in the movie, voiced by Coleman Domingo, but he's got like 3 lines. And you see that the Tin Man is like this bitter, angry, like let's get the witch, let's kill the witch. It's like it's just it doesn't match as well the original, Judy Garland film Wizard of Oz. It doesn't match it as well. The play does a better job, but it doesn't expand on the events. And again, it glosses through, and it's kind of tragic ends for most of the characters have a tragic end.
You know what you're saying? You're saying that everything that they expanded in the first movie was great, but when they do it here, it's bad.
You're right, though. It's true. They did expand things in the first film that actually made it better. And this is now they did shoot these movies back to back. They were shot all at one time, right? And which is odd because I think something that they shut down all the interviews with the cast because Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are just weird around each other. There's something weird going on. But what's weird, having seen those clips of what they look like in real life now and watching the movie, they look healthy in the movie.
Yeah.
I'll just say that, healthy. And in real life, they both look unhealthy in terms of how skin and bones they both are. Anyways, Alan, I was disappointed. I'm not going to say I don't recommend it. It gets a bare recommend, but I'm disappointed they didn't improve upon the second half of the Broadway play, which is what they had an opportunity to do. And so, and it does have its moments. It's mostly between Glinda and Elphaba. Like those moments are great.
Yeah, one thing that they added that I liked was they brought the animals back because the animals were a big part of the first act or the first movie. And in the play, the animals disappear. And here there's that motivation of, they can't talk anymore because they're outcast now. Look, spoilers. Sorry. They live happily ever after. Okay. You got your spoilers.
Not everybody. Not everybody.
But clearly people have to die in order to get to the happy ending. Okay.
Alan, your internet is kind of.
I remember leaving the first. I remember leaving the first movie and saying, "This is a great movie," and I remember leaving this movie going, "Oh, it was okay," and it shouldn't have done that. It should have taken that ball and ran with it, and have still been a great movie. And I'll tell you exactly why it happens. The new stuff. There are 2 songs in it, one from Glinda, one for Elphaba, that are basically, I think, their attempt to get some kind of Oscar nomination for best song.
Yes.
Both songs are flat. Both songs have zero meaning to it. Elphaba opens with the song "There's No Place Like Home," and she's telling all the animals who are leaving, exiling themselves out because there's no place for Oz there. She sings, why do I love a world that hates me? And then she says, but there's no place like home. And then she says, there's no place like home. And then she ends it by saying, there's no place like home. That's the depth. That's the depth of that song.
How much was someone paid to write that song?
There's Stephen Schwartz. There's Stephen Schwartz who wrote it. And then Elphaba, I'm sorry, Glinda has a song that I just don't remember. And when we saw it together, that was when her song started. That was the moment I got up and went to the bathroom because I knew. And then when I came back, I asked you the question, "What did I miss?" And you said nothing.
Nothing. And another thing that bothered me, we can nitpick this because it's
No, but if you're going to add something, this is not a nitpick, because if you're going to add a song that's meant to get best song nominations, you failed. You failed miserably here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bach, who's a Munchkin, they do this thing where Munchkins are being exiled.
Yeah. Plot point.
A little plot point there.
Plot convenience.
Yeah. Yeah. How are they Munchkins? Is he a short king? He's not short. The actor who plays Bach.
Yeah, and they're the same height as Glinda. I think Munchkins are a race of people and not short people.
Yeah, they're like I don't know what it's just. Is that sort of a like? Well, we don't want to have little people in this.
Heaven forbid.
So they're just called Munchkins. They're not what Munchkins are in the original movie, at all.
Yeah. Now let me tell you exactly why this movie falls flat. It's the first movie. The moment it starts, it immersed you in the world of Oz. You were in this world. People were singing, were dancing. There are at least 3 great song and dance numbers throughout the movie. In this one, there is none of that. There is one big dance number between Jeff Goldblum and Ariana and Cynthia Erivo. Fun. But that was it. We are not brought back to shiz. We're not the things, the world that we loved in the first movie is non-existent in this movie. And that's it was like you have these grand song and dances in the first one, and this one it's just a letdown at that point. And I just remember watching it feeling like I was an outsider, just observing it as opposed to being immersed in the world of Oz. And as you say, it's dark, and it's also pretty much practically just a 5-person movie at that point.
Yeah,
everyone else, all the supporting characters you loved in the first movie, gone. And then lastly,
Bo and Yang.
Lastly, the fate of Nessa. Did you laugh at the fate of Nessa? I was like,
it was dumb. It was dumb. You should feel that it's tragic. It's actually kind of dumb. So,
but it was, she died out of plot convenience.
That's right. And I don't know what, I'll just say this. If you saw the first one and loved it, prepare for disappointment, but it's probably more disappointing than the stage play, in the sense that they had an opportunity to fix the flaws of the play, and what they did was they amplified the flaws of the play. So you kind of have to see this but you're not gonna. For example, I saw the first Wicked several times in the theater and really enjoyed it. But I've seen this once. I have no interest in seeing it again.
Yeah,
Alan, your final thoughts?
Yeah, the best parts of this movie are the parts that were in the musical, because John M. Chu knew how to shoot those. He knew how to make those grand numbers. There's a love song where basically Elphaba and Fiyero do it, and it was great. The For Good, that's the signature song of the second act, very good. But it's all the added stuff that just felt out of place and felt like it just needed to be there to wrap things up. Are you muted?
It's ultimately a disappointment. And you know what John M. Chu is doing right now? You're not going to believe this. John M. Chu did a Wicked themed car ad. I think it's for Lexus. I have it in my YouTube history. It's called, it's a Lexus car ad. I'm going to show this to you. This is what the director of Wicked was spending his time on. There's a lot of marketing behind Wicked, but here we go. It's called Magic in the Air, Lexus. And here he is with his blonde wife, I guess, and baby. Okay.
I've heard it said.
Oh no, we're gonna get hits. Here he is, John M. Chu, director of Wicked, doing a magical Lexus ad. That's what. There we go.
Because I knew you.
Oh, he's driving the Lexus through the
Yay.
poppy fields. Woo!
By the way, good for John M. Chu for having a blonde wife.
Let's go to comments.
I don't begrudge him at all for that. Patrick Lemire, Wicked is the patient zero of moral relativism in pop culture and therefore evil, but the tunes are good. You know, it's funny because, you know, we talked about the press tour and how Ariana and Cynthia, gay, Oz is such a gay and accepting world, except they hate the witch and want her dead.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate in love and acceptance. ADL's 24. Shocker, the lesbian actress has no chemistry with the gay actor.
Yes.
Weird.
It's true.
Big Tasty Burger 666. People fell in love with Defying Gravity, but no good deed won't be as well received. I don't think they handled that song very well either.
Nope.
West Reviews. I mean, technically, isn't Wicked just one movie, like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2?
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
One 5-hour movie, close to 5 hours.
Yeah. In fact, you probably need to see it together.
Yeah. I do recommend watching the first movie again.
Tom Siebert, 75% of the best songs are front loaded in the first act / movie. Yep.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of Broadway plays is you come back from intermission and they have to wrap it up in 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, also look at Little Mermaid, look at Beauty and the Beast, look at Aladdin. All the songs are in the first half of the movie. There are no songs in the second half of the movie.
And then there's the wrap up of of all the story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bimo Benner. So it sounds like Wicked not so good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wicked not so good is going to be on the thumbnail. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
I mean,
all right.
Quite frankly, if you've seen the first movie, you might as well see the second one. Just
It's kind of begrudgingly go.
Yeah.
We have Kevin Smith is going to be joining us in about 7 minutes or so, but we have more films to review. I do want to remind people quickly that we are doing a sale on our Film Threat shop. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Take 10% off store-wide, everything in the store. 10% off. Use the code FTHOHO10. Where do we come up with these offer codes? FTHOHO10, 10% off. It's our early Black Friday sale. We'll run this sale through, well, at least Cyber Monday. What is Cyber Monday?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go there.
Black Friday, ho ho. Got it. All right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, it's FT ho ho 10. So there you go. Hey, we've got more films to review. Alan, you have seen Sisu 2 Road to Revenge.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
All right. So Sisu 2 picks up a little bit from where the last movie came in. Tommy is so it opens basically with the at the end of World War II, in order to create peace between Finland and Russia, Russia took a significant portion of Finland, their land, as to be part of Russia. And unfortunately, our hero's home was in that portion that Russia took. So our hero, Tommy, he goes to the Russian border with a giant truck, holds out his passport and says, I'm here to get my home, or to go home. They let him in. The thing is that they know who he is and they know what he's done. So he goes to his home now in Russia, and he basically dismantles his house, log by log, log by log. And he takes all those logs, puts it in a truck. And what he's now going to do is he's going to drive those logs back into Finland and rebuild his home. But because of who he is and all the people he killed in the first movie, the Russians are not going to let that happen. In fact, they've hired one of their brutal generals who is in prison for his war crimes. They said, well, take out this guy and we will not only let you live, but we will reward you handsomely. And that person is played by Stephen Lang.
I love him. He's great.
So the movie is about Tommy going back to Finland with his house in a giant truck, and it's about Igor, played by Stephen Lang, stopping him, and we pretty much have a Sisu movie once again. It might as well be called Sisu Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because that's where those are all the set pieces that take place in this movie. I think what makes this movie unique and interesting is the fact that it's not just a Tommy trying to survive, but it's also him trying to bring his home back to Finland, and so he has to protect the truck. And he has to protect his house. And so they're throwing Molotov cocktails on it, and he has to, put out the fires. And then, it's this movie is, if anything, is a great follow-up to the first movie. And it brings in everything you love about that first movie, ups the stakes a bit, even though he's, it's really him just trying to drive his old home across the border. A lot of fun and wow, what an ending. I'll just put it that way.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I've been so busy lately. I did not have a chance to see this. But I cannot wait. So I assume you recommend it.
Yes, absolutely. And like the first movie, there's not a lot of dialogue in this movie.
Good.
All in the face. It's all in the performance. And Stephen Lang nails it as well. We just saw him last night too.
That's true. Let's go to your comments. We have a lot of comments. People chatting about Sisu.
Aaron Charman. The film went completely over the top at times in all the best possible ways, and I loved it. Oh, are you in for a good time?
Great.
All right. Robert Thompson Watson. I smell John Wick.
Yeah, but
more gruesome.
I want that. I want that.
Red French Moon, Stephen Lang as the bad guy. Nice. Urjo, Finland was a complete clusterfuck in World War II.
Tell me about it.
Do you have inside information on that?
I don't. I know someone who knows a lot about Finland.
The history of Finland?
And yes,
really? What could this person know about Finland?
Well, that Finland was the only country to fight Russia in a war and win. So there you go.
Yeah, but they had to give up some land.
Yeah, that happens.
St. Solomon, Stephen Lang would be a cool Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a great look. I love him as a villain.
Yeah, Sisu is Harry Brownhall. Sisu is like John Wick in post-war.
Yeah.
ADL is 24. Just let Sisu go home. Nope, can't do that. He's got crimes to pay for. Patrick Lemire, Sisu would be awesome with John Candy. I'm a lean, mean fighting machine.
Well, when AI takes over all of entertainment, you'll be able to redo Sisu and with just replace Sisu with John Candy, which would completely make it a different movie altogether.
Of the same movie.
The same movie.
2 cents says, I bought the first Sisu on 4K DVD.
I bought it digital. I think it was on sale. And I like to do that.
I feel like I need to stop buying digital and get the digital code with the
thing. The disc with the digital code. Alan, have you seen any other movies? We have other films opening up.
Let me see. Was Jay Kelly supposed to be on the list, or am I wrong? No, it's not on the list. Okay, never mind. No, those are the 3 I saw.
Okay, great. Well, we're gonna stall for time because Kevin Smith is not here. So what we'll do is we'll take your questions in the comments live. I'm gonna just pick. Can AI replace politicians too? How do you know that hasn't already happened?
Yeah. Have you seen Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, he seems like a slimy politician. If you were to So Google slimy politician, his photo would come up. When is Sisu 2 out? Now.
Now.
Frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now. So there you go. Jay Kelly had a limited theatrical release last week. Comes out on Netflix December 5th. We'll review it next week.
Yeah.
We'll review it next week. There we go.
I like Jay Kelly.
All right, folks. He is an indie film legend. You love his work. He is a true independent. And he is here to talk to us about the re-release of his film Dogma. Let's talk to Kevin Smith.
Good morning.
Kevin.
Hey.
Good morning.
What are you doing, man? So good to see you.
Did you freeze on me? No, there you are. Hello.
Yeah, there we are. Cool. Yeah, you're looking good. You're looking good. A little frozen here, but hey, can you hear? All right, great.
Thank you, Captain. There it is. There it is.
There it is. Kevin, I've known you since.
How are you, man? Excellent to see you both.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever met, but I'm Alan. I work.
How are you, Alan? First off, props for doing it live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so many of these I'll do, and then someone has to edit it later. It's happening.
Yeah.
You don't have to post, right?
Right. This is
So
live
smart.
on YouTube.
That's the way I used to like to do it, man.
Yeah. And Kevin, I've known you since the 90s, early in your career. And what's happened since then, I'm sorry to say, we got old. Well, I mean, I feel
look at all these whites, man. My beard is gentrifying. The whites are just moving in and ruining the neighborhood.
I went full gray. What can I say? My hair was always kind of weird, but
yeah, you went James Gunn early, man. Like, all of a sudden there was one day I saw a picture of you, and then the next day, like, Father Time and shit.
Yeah,
I'm not fighting it. I won't dye it, but it is coming in, and it's a losing battle. Like, every once in a while when I'm doing a thing, the makeup people are like, we should fill this in so that, I was like, but filling it in, that's lying. Like, don't. Who am I kidding? Like, 55. This is it.
Yeah, embrace aging. That's the thing.
Then again, I saw Jared Leto up close, also 55, looking much better than me, much younger.
Yeah, but I
far
feel
more
so
beautiful.
lucky.
I was looking for the work too. I was like looking, really peering, and I didn't see anything. I was just naturally gifted or something like that. Good genetics or what? You tell me.
Yeah. Well, I just feel really lucky. I've had so many close friends pass away. John Schnepp, you probably knew John Schnepp. Love that man.
Big Sweaty, man.
Yeah,
Big Sweaty himself.
He's such a great, and I feel fortunate. Hey, I'm here. You and I both had health scares, and I followed your whole journey there. It's so great to see you healthy, and you've documented your regimen. It's awesome to see you. And we talked to Malcolm, our friend Malcolm, about your documentary. That was amazing. So just good to see you here. Let's talk about, you're here to talk about Dogma. It's coming out 4K. And I remember, I'm not particularly religious, but that film was controversial when it came out upon release. Can you tell us about that?
It was controversial when it came out. That's why it's been so lovely this year. 1999, when we released this movie, not the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church is smart enough to know if you don't want somebody to notice something, you don't call attention to it. There's an organization called the Catholic League, ran by this guy named Bill Donahue, who they were self-appointed media watchdogs who looked at movies and TV shows, and if they didn't like how Catholics were portrayed, then they went after you and stuff. So we got on their radars, I guess, pretty quickly, like while we were in pre-production. And if you remember the wild west days of the internet back then, Chris, you and I were there as they were laying the track and stuff. Drew's Scriptorama was like one of the first places on the internet where you could actually like access any script and read it and stuff. There was a copy of Dogma that was up there. So the Catholic League had access to the script while we were making the movie. That being said, I never felt there was anything in the script that was blasphemous. This was a movie that was made by a guy who was raised in the faith, and he wasn't working ironically. Like Dogma isn't like my version of Monty Python, you know, and Life of Brian, Monty Python's Life of Brian. Like they were.
Are we back? Internet. As long as we can hear you, we're good. But yeah, keep going.
Are we back?
You mentioned Life of Brian.
You mentioned Life of Brian.
Yeah, so if I was always worried we'll get into that thing, we're looking for Life of Brian, which is a movie that's definitely Monty Python. Let's take the piss out of the church, religion, so forth and so on. Dogma's not like that. Dogma is written and directed by a guy who believed in everything you see up on that screen. Right. He was like, I've often thought about Dogma as, you know how like when you read about marriages that are like on their way out or going down the slope, and as a last-ditch effort to save the marriage, the couple has a baby. That's what Dogma was for me. Dogma was my last-ditch effort to have a baby to keep my marriage with the Catholic Church together because the seams were starting to come apart at my faith. It was something I was given when I was a kid, you know, by my parents. They were given to them by their parents and stuff. So I never thought to question it. You know, it was just like, I remember when I came home from school when I was 6, and I was like, Santa Claus isn't real. They told me that Santa Claus isn't real in school. And my mom was like, yeah, the Santa Claus is just a beautiful lie. We all tell our children and stuff. And I was like, what about God? She goes, well, God's real. Don't be stupid. So I was just raised in the faith and never questioned it. And Dogma is an expression of that faith. When I was on tour with it earlier this year, like every night I got to watch the movie. And when the movie came out the first time, I didn't get to engage with it as easily because, you know, there were the death threats, there was the hate mail, there was then there was the box office, like worrying about how it was going to do. This time around, like you're past all that. And also there's no controversy. First time around, we couldn't put Buddy Christ anywhere on the poster. This time around, he is the poster. So times have changed, and I got to enjoy the release of Dogma this time without worrying about what the box office would be or if I was going to lose my life as a heretic or something like that. But back then it was bad. It was crazy, man. And how lovely that 26 years later, we keep saying 25, but really it's 26. Like the Catholic Church, we stretch our truth a little bit. How lovely that 26 years later, I was able to go out there with the movie again. There was no Sturm and Drang, nobody trying to take my life, you know, nobody threatening me or my family. Just a bunch of people who are in for a nostalgia fix.
Yeah, I got to say, in 1999, I was one of those people. I was very religious, and you know, Dogma was blasphemous, and we were, you know, I went through all that, and you know, and what I appreciate about it is faith is not something you just accept; it's something you wrestle with. And when I finally got to see it a couple months ago, it was just like, why did I not watch this movie when it came out? Why did I believe what people were telling me? And you know, sadly enough, is like 2015 is like, you really need to see Dogma, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
well, you could like there was for years people be like, hey man, there's only the DVD on eBay for like $200. When's that coming out? And I always told people, like, go watch it on YouTube. Like, there's a beautiful version up on YouTube that I watched for a good, like, 8 years. Like, whenever I wouldn't pull out my DVD, whenever I needed to refer back to Dogma, I would just watch it there. So it's not like it hasn't been available. It's not, you know, like Song of the South, where people like, it's been buried in a vault for 100 years and stuff. It's been out there. You just couldn't transact it. You just couldn't, like, buy it and stuff. Which,
but for me, it was, I got to see it in the theater. I have to see it in theater.
Oh, we took it out, like I said, in April and May. We went out on the road 4/20 Easter Sunday. That was the first night of the tour. 20 cities across the country, 2 shows a night, like sold out. It was absolute bliss, like going to a church where I was both the priest and Jesus at the same time every night. But one of my favorite viewings of the movie was, you know, 40X. 40X did a version of Dogma. And I never imagined one of my films. I've never imagined one of my films in 40X. Like, I would joke about, like, could you imagine Clerks in 40X? The chair wouldn't move. You'd sit there the whole time. But my friend Brett Deacon was like, we're doing it. He works at 40X. He's like, we're actually doing Dogma, so you got to come in and approve it. And I went in and watched it, and it was nuts. In the third act, you know, chair moves around because there's a lot of action and people hitting each other and shit like that. But in the first hour of the movie, Dogma is a movie all about exposition. Like one character explains the movie to the next, who explains it to the next for a long time. So there's not a lot of interactivity or action. But in the beginning, Ben and Matt are on a people mover in the airport having a long conversation. And when I was sitting in the chair watching Dogma 40X, I noticed my chair suddenly went like this. I was like, oh, they put me on the people mover with them. Like that's the best they could do for the opening of the movie because it's not a Fast and Furious or something like that. Right. So when they were done, I had a blast. And then they were like, do you have any notes? I said, no notes whatsoever. But I said, I do have a suggestion. You could do smells, right? Like, because they could do burnt rubber when the Fast and the Furious movies and stuff out. They said, yeah. I said, can we get, when the poop monster comes out, just like fill this theater with the stink of shit? And they're like, we don't have that smell. And I was like, why not? And they're like, why would anyone ever want that smell? That would drive people out of the theater, I guess. I said, I guess you're right. And I was like, but we could do one thing for that scene. I said, what? They were like, when the poop monster shoots his hand, they go running, they jump over the bar, it explodes. I said, yeah, because we'll shoot water in everybody's face. So as I was sitting there watching it, man, when the poop monster scene happens, you get like hit in the face with water meant to like symbolize or suggest, if you will, taking a brick right in the mush.
It's funny. Disney created a poop smell. It's basically coffee grounds.
Yeah. Hey, can we show the trailer for
the
25th anniversary? Do you mind if we watch it? It's from your YouTube channel, the trailer for Dogma.
I mean, what a horrifying experience. Why would we sit around and watch a thing anyone can watch? Let's have a conversation. Gore, it's been years. You want to sit around and watch a fucking trailer of a 26-year-old movie?
Everyone knows Dogma.
So much to catch up on.
It's from
Hold on.
channel.
Let me do this properly. Let me do this properly. Chris is working from a script. I can see him. He's trying to hit points. Chris Gore, ladies and gentlemen, Film Threat, were the internet before the internet existed. Now, I'm going to take you back to the early 90s, man, before one could just jump into a public forum and express their thoughts or sentiments about a movie, man. When only stuff like Filmmaker Magazine, man, or Cashiers Do Cinema, were the places where serious film discussion was had. Gore invents a magazine that speaks to all of us. None of us are sitting here doing this right now. I promise you, had Film Threat not existed, at least not on the film end of the internet. Letterboxd all the way back to, the IMDb message boards, before they were governed. All of that was built on fandom, and like one of the most expressed fandoms of my childhood was Film Threat, man, which did a very specific thing, talked about very specific movies in magazine format, put them on the cover and stuff. This is a very important work. Eventually, Film Threat would go on and put Mallrats on the cover when I made a flick as well, which meant the world to me and stuff. But you need to understand, and most people don't, all that we do on the internet today in regards to film, all the discussions we have, all the back and forth, all the venom that comes out for movies, that you could trace that back to Film Threat. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean Gore was doing this shit while you were still cum, probably.
True, but also, Kevin, I got to give you props.
And I remember those heady days. Dude. Do you remember those heady days of like there was a time, kids, where you could go to Sundance and see a bunch of movies, and that's all you'd see. Maybe the people in those movies. Now you go to Sundance, and number one, it won't be in Sundance pretty soon. I guess it's moved to Colorado. But number two, like you see a lot of branding, a lot of like people giving things away. Like, hey man, come to the Levi's place. One year I went, and they offered me a free refrigerator, dude. Like I was like, how would I even get that home? And my wife was like, you take that. And I was like, I ain't taking free shit. So there was a time when we got started when it was like this vast wasteland. It was so punk rock, kids. Like film appreciation, particularly for off-kilter films, not the mainstream fare. was incredibly punk rock back in the late 80s, early 90s, man. And I got to join the public discourse with Clerks in 1994, but Gore was doing it before me. And there's a world where I never make Clerks, where all I want to be is the next Chris Gore, like have my own film magazine and talk about the stuff, like advocacy journalism at its finest. And again, it's taken for granted now. Everybody could do it. You do it on your comments section on anybody's Instagram post. But this was a guy who figured out how to create a thing and then get money for it. He went to Larry Flint and was able to keep put films on stands, magazine stands around the country, not just offbeat stuff or comic book stores, but in legit film stands because of Flint Publishing. So I was there. I saw it all, man. I saw it before I was in it, and then I saw it while I was in it and whatnot, and I benefited from it when I was in it. We were on the cover and stuff. That's where I met my friend Malcolm Ingram, because he worked with Chris at Film Threat and Paul. But Chris was doing something important, kids. Like, honestly, I ain't just saying this because I'm on your fucking show, but respect where respect is due. There's a world. It ain't the one that's happening now because nobody got any money. But there's a world soon, one day, before you die, Gore, where somebody makes a biopic about you. That's my prediction.
I that'll be crazy. They have to have the hair, but I'm embarrassed to hear this. But
I wasn't holding for a dramatic cause.
But my joy is discovering filmmakers like Clerks, so pure. And I'm a paying customer. I saw Clerks 3, which it's one of the things you got me, like Field of Dreams. I'm like, oh, and then by the end, I'm like, why am I getting all choked up at the end of Clerks 3? Holy shit. Yeah.
That's that movie. A lot of people were like, fuck you for what you did to Dante. But that's a very, as the guy who, probably likes Clerks more than anybody else, I love where that story went. Do you remember the coverage in Film Threat prior to Clerks? Do you remember all the Kung Fu Rascals coverage?
Yes, Steve Wang. I know Steve. I see him at Monsterpalooza. It's like discovering all
that is shit. You got anyone who was like working in the field or known for the cinema or indie film, or for lack of a better description, famous, stays with you and remains on that chart, even though the world is changed. So that's a long way of saying that, like, Kung Fu Rascals, Roadside Prophets, these were movies that were huge because they were in the pages of Film Threat, and you could read about Steve's movie and forced perspective shooting and how he made this flick. It was all great coverage. All of it, like, before I went off and started trying to serve pop culture for a living, I ate very well, heartily, off many banquet tables. One of them was set by Film Threat, man.
Wow.
So Film Threat not only like gave me a place to go, just like how people on the internet now, they find their tribes. Film Threat like gave you, and you couldn't interact with it because there was no internet, but there where you were reading it, and it gave you hope that there's like, oh, there's people with good taste in movies out there, or people who say the shit that they'll never say in like Premiere Magazine or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a part of like who I am. In order to get to where I'm going, I have to ingest that. So whenever I see the little like bug or the logo for Film Threat, it makes me happy. I remember at one point, like, you let it go, and then I was so happy when it came back into your life. Yeah. You've had a like a Leonard Nimoy relationship with it, where you're like, I'm not Spock, and then you're like, I am Spock, and you came back to it. Where did you go? Stop fucking with it.
I've made some films. I made this little movie called My Big Fat Independent Movie. You're referenced in the movie. Made a documentary about G4 TV called Attack of the Doc. So I get like, I want to make films of my own, but Film Threat, whenever I kind of leave it, it doesn't, I got to always come back to it. It's like, I feel like Michael Corleone. It's like I get drawn back in, but I got to give you some, because I'm embarrassed. I don't want to make this all about me, but you own Dogma. You are a true independent. when other filmmakers have gone Hollywood and gone on and made Marvel movies or this or that or whatever, and you've been a big supporter of that because you're a nerd, you're a legit geek nerd. Like you are a pure independent. There was, what was it, the one Sundance where you're going to auction the movie and you bought your own movie? Like there's like the showmanship, the honesty, you'll make, I remember you would always, when you were not quite as svelte as you are now, you would make a fat joke before anyone else would make a fat joke. You just, this brutal honesty. And even I loved about Clerks 3 during the credits, it's like you're doing the Irish goodbye. You're doing commentary over the credits while the credits are rolling. No one left. No one left the theater.
That was one of my favorite, like, when people think about Clerks 3, my favorite sequence in Clerks 3 is just hearing myself talk over the credits. And I did that in post. When I did it in post, I was like, I could have saved a lot of money if I just narrated the movie and just read the flick. But I found a place, a little more real estate, because what is a film if not in a when it's made by a writer director, if not an expression, a self-expression of the artist? And so you should imbue every nook and cranny of the movie. And I've been making movies now 31 years. Never occurred to me that I was like, I got all that real estate at the end of the movie. Why don't I just talk and like just take it all the way to the end? And I learned that, a version of that, from with Paul Zimmerman at the Houston World Fest. You sent him there to cover, the Houston World Fest was kind of an Insta-fest. It would go everywhere. Something World Fest. So we went to Houston, and Clerks played there. And that's where I met Paul Zimmerman when he was writing a film thread. And so while we were doing the Q&A, afterwards, I went and introduced the movie, watched the movie played. Then I got up with Scott Mosier and we did the Q&A, and we went for like 45 minutes or an hour or something, and made everyone laugh. Then afterwards, we rush outside to smoke cigarettes because we were such fucking cigarette fiends in the 90s. And we were standing by the doors, people were coming out. And I heard two dudes having a conversation, changed the way I would do my job forever. One of them goes, "What'd you think?" And the other guy goes, "I thought it sucked, but the fat guy was funny." And so I was like, all right, I missed out on him with the movie, but by sitting up there and talking for 45 minutes, I bought back a little affection. So for me, I'll be the first one to rush out after a movie's done, be like, wait, let me tell you what happened. Me and Bruce Willis had a fight, or what, I got thrown off an airplane or something. There's always some story attached. For me, the movie doesn't necessarily begin when the audience gets in the theater. I've been laying the groundwork for a long time prior to that to get anybody excited about what it is I'm doing. And I try to be excellent at what I do, at least as far as me, by never letting that story end. Even when the credits roll, even when the curtains close, there's a way to prolong that story, whether it be like, hey, we made a comic book that looks like the one in the movie, or hey, this movie is interconnected to that movie, man. Those characters are going to be referenced, or hey, Jane, Silent Bob are coming back. It's just a way to keep the story going, the experience going. And it's funny to watch people come around now to the same idea of experiential cinema. Somebody was telling me, like, they met with me and they were like, I want to pick your brain because you did something and you do something that, like, I think the future we're all going to have to do. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And he said, you go out there with your movie. You eventize the tiniest movie by just standing next to it and talking. Like, so that's, anybody can watch movies at home now. They can watch them on their phone. They don't have to go out. So if they're going to leave their house, they want an experience, and it can't just be what it used to be. It's got to be that plus more. That's why your average movie theaters now have bars and restaurants attached. Where Tim League's new concept in New York was the Metro, where you go and have like a 5-course meal in a private screening room of like 5 to 20 seats, and then watch the movie and ingest it that way. People just simply won't. As a motherfucker who owns a movie theater, as a true exhibitor, I can tell you, it's not enough to show a movie to get people to come out anymore, unless you have eventized movies. Now, like, big ass Marvel movie will drag people out and whatnot. But what if you don't have that? And so what I got is I can make something and then go out there with it. And so after the movie's done, I can come out and do a secondary show, just like I did in Houston, unconsciously catching anybody that didn't necessarily go for the first show. What does it cost me? Time more than dimes. I've already made the movie, so it's just following the movie around. But I could upcharge on that movie so I could get something out of it financially, make it financially worth my while. More importantly, it's relevance. You know what I'm saying? I used to make movies, we released them in a vacuum, and I didn't know how we did unless I read critics' reviews or saw what the box office was. Thanks to the advent of the internet, and since then I've been in deep with it, I could always find out what people thought about what it is that we're doing. So when I go to that screening, when I'm in a room with 1,000, 1,500 people appreciating Clerks 3 or Jane Silent Bob Reboot, that's just not just smart financial business. That's me getting pumped the fuck up. I'm not nearly as relevant as I was at the beginning of my career. So to walk into a room full of people who are like, you still got it, means absolutely everything. It means almost as much as the money. So much so you can imagine I'd give it back, but I need the fucking money, so I hold on to it.
Well, I gotta say, I've always enjoyed your. I mean, you're partially a comedian, but your talks that would come out on disc, I love those things. Oh my God, we're amazing. But I think people don't understand. You are still independent. You own the movie theater. You supported the unexpected Alejandro Amatoya Marin. Yeah,
wonderful movie that won best
really
comedy.
amazing.
It won best comedy at this movie theater I have in New Jersey. Me and my friends post-COVID bought the movie theater we grew up going to in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. It was called the Atlantic Highlands Twin Cinema. It grew to 5 screens. Not truly a multiplex. It started as a stable where they put the horses after they delivered milk. 3 years they did that. Then they turned it into a single screen cinema. Then in my lifetime, you know, right when Scarface came out, they added a second screen, and then they added 3 more screens over the years. Nobody needs 5 screens anymore, particularly in our little town of Atlantic Highlands. So post-COVID, they were going to close it down. And me and my friends were like, we got to save it, man. This is where we saw this and this and blah, blah, blah. So very romantic, like the Goonies. We all got together and saved it. Worst financial decision I ever made, man. There's a reason if the movie was going, you know, up for sale and down the toilet. Like, people aren't going to go particularly to that movie theater because the same seats that we have in our Theater One, which admittedly has the best projection system in New Jersey, are the same seats I sat in when I went to see Friday the 13th Part 2. So it's an uncomfortable fucking theater. You can go down the street to the Carmike and like rock your seat back and go to sleep with a blanket and shit. But what we can do at Smodcastle is upsell by being like, hey man, we're going to do a screening of Cop Out for the 15th anniversary. And Tracy Morgan's coming, man, because we put it up on the bill and Tracy Morgan called me. He was just like, Kev, I want to come to Jersey, get people pregnant. And I was like, oh my God, that'll help me sell tickets. Come on. So he came out. And we were able to charge like $50, you know, to see Cop Out, a movie people wouldn't pay 2 bits to see when it came out and stuff. Packed the theater, and then he came and watched it. He didn't come for the Q&A. He came, watched the whole thing, laughed louder than anybody else in the movie theater, like Robert De Niro on Cape Fear. He's like, ah. And then at the end, he got up and gave a pretty emotional Q&A for a dopey comedy and stuff. And then when he was leaving, I said, Trace, we made 16 grand tonight. So 8 grand of that is yours. So do you want cash or check? And he goes, Kev, you can keep that. I got Walmart money now. And he got into a gold-plated Rolls Royce and drove off. So that movie theater, man, like aside from like doing programming, showing like Clerks Open All Night Marathon, where we show all 3 Clerks movies all night long and you sleep there, you know, it's like a slumber party. My friend Ernie O'Donnell, who runs a place, he was like, we should do a film festival. And I was like, really? And he goes, are you fucking kidding me? He goes, your whole fucking career is predicated on film festival. You own a movie theater, you're not going to do a film festival? I said, you're absolutely right. So we've done now 4 years of the Smodcastle Film Festival. Last month, we launched the Smodcastle Horror Fest for the first year, man, because we used to get a lot of like horror entries in the main film in the film festival. So Ernie was like, let's do a whole horror fest. So it's, you know, the most gratifying aspect of it is meeting filmmakers at the film festival who are like, oh my God, I started a journey because I saw you could do a thing, or so forth and so on. Or having a movie theater for a filmmaker to see their work on the big screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they may have to travel to New Jersey to do it. And it may not be like packed house. You may have 10 people in a room. but you're seeing your work like up on the big screen. We try to make every filmmaker feel welcome and honored and stuff like that. And that's just that giving back thing, because I came from that world, as my friend Ernie pointed out. So Alejandro's flick was there in, not last year, but the year before, the third Smodcastle Film Festival, won Best Comedy. And we know our buddy Eric at MVD, who puts out physical media still. MVD makes all those like wonderful reissues of movies they haven't done in a long time and stuff. So we were able to get a deal for Alejandro to come out, physical media, come out streaming and stuff. So the film festival is not just like a cool way to give back to a community that birthed me and professionally and stuff. It's not a moneymaker, but it's a cool way for people to kind of start their journey as well. And there's nothing wrong with being shoulder to shoulder with talented young people on their way up, considering I'm an old man on his way down.
Well, I'll say one of the things we started was an award show called Award This, and Alejandro, his movie is a nominee. Film Threat now with 30 writers reviews 2,000 movies a year.
Good
and
God.
There's about a list of about 80, 90 movies across genre categories we give awards to. We're in our 7th year next year. I'd love for you to come out and check it out. I'll follow up with Mia, but
happily, where do you guys do? Where's your physical location where you do it?
we do it in Santa Ana, California, about 30 minutes south. It's one of the only independent theaters in California. It's a nonprofit. We work with them and try to get them a little money, and that's where we do the awards. So
it's the Frida Cinema, yeah.
The Frida.
They do event screenings like you do.
Yeah,
if
they do
you
event
ever
screenings.
want to go east with it, I know a theater and I know a guy.
Oh, we could do it there. Oh, that'd be great. I'll follow up with info, but we have 2,000 people watching live. We have a lot of questions. I don't know how long you can stay. We have a lot of questions from our audience, and you mind going to some questions?
Let's fire away. Let's hear what the
do
folks
it.
have to say. I'm here for them.
Snozhead for 199. Would you consider Wild at Heart an Oz film? Oh wait, that's something else.
Yeah, I think that was from our Wicked.
But the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think you need to be a Cine East to draw the comparison. He literally had Diane Ladd on a broom at one point playing the Wicked Witch. So yeah, he didn't really bury the lead on that one.
Steven Anguiano for 999 says, how does a screenwriter navigate a post-AI world? When I was 15, I made a replica of the Clerks slate from the Clerks X DVD. That also started my long love of physical media. Batman rules. So what do you think of that question, AI? What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, it's like not really part of my world. The same way that like most digital effects have never been a part of my world. Very little interaction with stuff like that. Like when I directed episodes of Flash and Supergirl, they had a lot of digital stuff going, but most of the stuff I do, I don't even fuck with like digital effects. So AI, it was more of at one point when I first heard about it in strict reference to our business, there was a momentary existential like, oh my God, I'll be replaced. But I'm like, who the fuck's going to bother to try to replace me? If AI is going to try to replace anything, it's going to be like people whose movies sell and shit. So I think my little corner of the world is safe. That being said, like, will it make filmmaking cheaper? Sure. Is that going to cost jobs? Yes. So why not? I understand progress marches forward, but the human touch is necessary in film.
I agree.
I see article after article lately in my Instagram thread, and I'll read a little bit and move on. Not because I don't care, because it's just I don't view films this closely. But so many people talk about how movies don't look real anymore. How it's just like everything is synthetic and everything is shot on a green screen or the volume or whatnot. And how we get away from that is just let people do the jobs they used to do, or still continue to do, actually. Yeah. Just don't let it be replaced by a prompt. I just heard a story yesterday, though, that was heartening. Some Coke commercial that they did took something like 760,000 prompts and they still had to have high-priced digital artists come in and fix it afterwards. So what's the fucking point? You know, so I don't feel threatened by it. But to be fair, I don't really make movies that, you know, AI would really be involved with anyway and stuff. But you know, I've had people since Chat GPT was created, I've had many people be like, I asked it to write a Kevin Smith movie. Here you go. And you know, I've read one or two few pages, and it's not hard to write a Kevin Smith movie, kids. You know, don't give it up to Skynet just yet. Fucking, it's not like be afraid, be very afraid. Mine is a pretty easy formula to follow. You know, you enter Jane, Silent Bob, the thing writes itself. So for me, it's never been much of a thing. That being said, I just watched 3 videos this morning about how the AI bubble is bursting. So I don't think it's going to be a threat to anybody.
Yeah. I'm sure you've heard this before. Snozhead for 199 says, will there be a Mallrats 2?
Oh, trying, Snoz. Fuck, trying, man. But Universal doesn't see it my way, man. You know, basically, I've brought in 3 incarnations of the Mallrats sequel to them over the last decade. And the reaction is always like, well, this script is neither fast nor furious. And then that's it. They don't believe in a Mallrats sequel. So I am working with Universal on another thing potentially. And I'm hoping that if that takes and I get a little traction there, then I can revisit the Mallrats conversation. But it's going to be bittersweet, man, because like part of the fun in doing it was we had everybody. Now we don't have Shannon. So I don't know. I wouldn't hold out hope for that one, man.
Yeah. Red French Moon says, Sir Smith, I love a lot of your art, movies, TV shows, comics, animation. What's your fave to work on? Now storytelling and video games wouldn't tempt you?
I've known people like Paul Dini who've written video games and stuff, and they try to explain it to me. I still can't get my head around the process. So I can't imagine that's the field for me. You know, games, you want some action, you want to run around, you want a first person like perspective, first person shooter. Kevin Smith game, first person perspective of somebody explaining something to you, first person perspective of exposition just doesn't seem like a fun game whatsoever. But what do I like doing best? You know, right now I'm writing something and I'm having a blast, and because of the culture and because now I've been a professional for 3 decades, like there was this nagging kind of like, wait, this is too long. Like you got to shorten it now, because I tend to edit while I write. Like I write and then edit and write and edit and write and edit. But then finally I was like, you know, man, you should just write and not think about the consequences. So why don't you do that? Why don't you write the story and just worry about length and shit like that later on? So I've been having a blast. I love when I'm in love with a screenplay, when it's something I'm writing, because I'll get up. I've gotten up every morning for the last 2 weeks at 5 a.m. Now I don't set an alarm. I just wake up because my subconscious is like, why are you fucking dreaming? This is useful. Get downstairs and write. Like you just want to find out what happens next. You want to write the next line of dialogue. You want to get to that moment where you're like, oh, that's the scene and stuff. So I honestly, after all this time, I still think it's writing. Directing is like a necessary evil just to get to the footage to cut, which is my second favorite thing, editing. I don't think of myself as a director, which is fine because the critics don't either. I think of myself as an editor who gets to, you know, be in charge of the material, like gets to call the shots on the set. Because that's all I do on a movie set is I just assemble in my head the 6 shots I need to get out of that scene and get everybody home. I always carry a lot of guilt about keeping people on set long because it's a Kevin Smith movie. It's like, it's not a Scorsese picture and we're not making a Star Wars. It feels like we should get everybody out of here before lunch, you know, just by virtue of the fact that it's not a very substantial or consequential story that we're telling. That comes from growing up Catholic. That also comes from being a codependent people pleaser. It's come up on 3 years ago. I went crazy and they put me in booby hatch and stuff. And I found out I was a codependent people pleaser, which explained so much of my life. And also professionally, it's one of those things where you're like, man, I wish I wasn't. But they told me, they're like, if you weren't, you probably wouldn't do what you do for a living. Like part of the reason you do what you do is because your head works like the way it does, because you're desperate to be liked, so much so that you'll create art and give it to people and be like, please love me and shit. It all made sense when I was in there and stuff. And so there are moments where I go, wow, what would it have been like if I was healthy my whole life? Like if I could just get up in the morning and be like, I like Kevin Smith, and that would be enough. But I probably wouldn't have done this job then, but I might have been happier. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, I love this job and I've been happy for 30 years making movies and shit like that. But there is some timeline where that wasn't necessary because I felt whole. You know, you talk to any artist and most of them will tell you, you know, there's something back there that's broken that led to this, man. We're always trying to overcompensate for something or heal some fucking deep wound and stuff. And oddly enough, you know, when you think about the idea of like, if everybody can bring their burden to the table, you'd probably leave with your own and stuff. You know, I just think about, well, what if there were no burdens? Like my father wasn't like me. He didn't have any ambition and shit. He worked for the post office, but he seemed happy all the time. You know, I'm sure he always wished he had a little more money and shit like that, or wished we had any money, but he was not like going, oh, I got to be fulfilled. And what was my ambition and shit? He just wanted to have a job so he could pay for his, you know, wife and kids. That's what he loved. That's what he wanted to do and shit like that. And I, you know, I used to think when I was a kid, man, I wish he'd been more ambitious. Like we would have had more money when we were growing up and shit like that. And now at 55, I think my father was the smartest person I ever met. And I'm glad he wasn't ambitious. And I'm a little bit jealous sometimes now that I think about it. Like, might have been nice to have a life where I wasn't like, gotta keep going. Like, this is existence and you're in it too, Gore. You know, It's like you're a fucking shark. The moment you stop swimming, you're fucking dead. Like, if you want to be a part of the culture and create media, ever forward, man, ever fucking forward and shit, which is ironic because we spend a lot of our ever forward media looking back and reminiscing and being nostalgic, such as with Dogma. But it's tough sometimes. I ain't bitching like Poor Little Rich Man or something like that. Not at all. But given the choice between carrying some fucking cross in your life that does manifest positively, there is a silver cloud or silver lining to the rain, that cloud, in as much as at least you can make a living off of it. Or would it be preferable to not be carrying that cross, just live a life like my dad lived, man? Went to work, came home, was like, hey, let me take the kids to the movies. Hey, I'm gonna fuck my wife. Hey, just the American dream, that kind of shit. None of this like, well, I gotta push further. Where's everyone else in comparison? And you know, they tell you that like they talk about climbing the ladder and shit. It's the illusion. There's no ladder, kids. Nobody's above you and nobody's below you. We are all traveling, not on a ladder, but laterally, man. And we're all on separate fucking journeys. We're not competing. And they make us think that it's like cutthroat. You got to fucking kill the guy to get ahead. Not at all. Everybody's on their own fucking journey. And every once in a while, I wonder if that journey would have been more enjoyable if I just liked myself enough to not be an artist. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I've seen you live at conventions. And I feel like you feel an obligation that someone who's a fan of yours, you're going to give them 10 times back that. Yeah, exactly. 10 times back what they get. You're really, yeah. So
they're going to come 8 times before they even see my dick. You know, that's how I operate. Right. That's how a fat guy fucks. And that's how a fat filmmaker has operated most of his career. And even though I've lost some weight, doesn't change the fact that I still fundamentally operate that way. Yeah. Like I have to over deliver because like I learned when those guys were walking out of that screening at the Houston World Fest, if I just let the work speak for itself, like David Fincher does, I was fucked. I was going to lose that guy. But by coming out afterwards and overcompensating, it ameliorated the situation. That's the lesson I've always learned from that. And I've taken with with me my entire career.
We've got your publicist wants you to end, I think, at like 11:10. I don't know if you have other interviews to do. We do have a lot of questions, but I don't know how long
there are a slew, but hopefully I'm sure Mia's listening. Mia, can we move some stuff? Because I also have a thing I have to do at noon. But
cool.
It's just there was one we're gonna have to displace, if not 2.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
You tell me when you got to end it, but here we go. Shattered Dimensions for 199. Will we ever get Moose Jaws? Complete the trilogy.
Getting closer. For those who are like, what is he talking about? Moose Jaws is a movie I've been threatening to make for 10 years, man. Would literally be at home on the cover of a circa 92 issue of Film Threat. If only we had Steve to make it, because he would have done it by now. Moose Jaws is Jaws, but with a moose instead of a shark. And so it is like, it's my dream movie. And as much as like I love Jaws and I love Bullwinkle in Canada, so all of this mixes up into a wonderful goulash. I think 2026 is the year, kids. I actually met with some people about casting, and so we've got our three mains. You know, now it's a question of when it happens. There could be an embarrassment of riches next year where I may get to make more than one movie.
Well, Mia's saying you have to wrap. Let's do this. Why don't we just have you come back another time? We'll go right to the questions. I don't want to upset your. So I will reach out.
You guys do it 10 in the mornings.
We'll figure it out with Mia.
No, but I'm fine with 10 in the mornings. That's like perfect.
Okay, yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it early. We'll just do a Q&A with you because people are going wild here. So, Kevin, it's an honor. I'm so glad to talk to you and just watching your career and being,
pleasure.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure.
You can see, kids, that we're to try and mutually blow each other, but I ain't gonna let Gore do it. I'm gonna do it for fun. It's always delightful to see people who've been there as long as I have. It's even more delightful when I see people who've been there even longer than me, man. So we're still doing it. We're still punching above our weight class.
Yeah, love it. Kevin, take care, my friend.
Alan, such a pleasure, man. Next time we chat more.
Okay.
I know. Great to meet you. I love you.
Great.
All right. Take care. We'll see you soon.
See you later on, kids.
Bye. That was epic. That was amazing. I'm going to do something though. We're going to do we've got all your questions. And some of the comments, we have our super chats. We have some questions that were really good. We are going to bring Kevin back and we will ask all of these questions. We'll do like a Hollywood on the Rocks where it's just a Kevin interview for the whole show. We'll do it in December or January when things are slow. And we will ask him all these questions. So we're cutting it off now. But we're gonna go. We do have soups that are. We'll save them. The non-Kevin questions and comments we'll get to now, and we will save them. So Lori, Atomic Lori, we're saving all these questions, and we're gonna do something. And I love that Kevin said, "Hey, I don't want to. Let's actually have a conversation. I want to show the Dogma trailer." I want to show the Dogma trailer and we will react to it. Because for a couple of reasons, we'll do that. But let's do some non-Kevin questions here. Some chats right here. Detailed Devil for 199. Saw Sisu 2 4K Atmos early. Now mid-size screen at best. Well, that's good. I think the 4K Atmos is awesome. It was the Sisu 2 was the secret movie. The
Monday. The mystery movie on Monday.
Yeah. So that's was awesome. The mystery movie. Let me see. Oh, this is fan of the word. Lord Comment. Hi there, boss, longtime friend of CG. Okay, that's for Kevin. New project. Is it called the Chris Gore story? By the way,
I just booked Timothy Chalamet to play you in the Chris Gore story.
That's great.
Yes.
He's got the hair. Okay, but these are all Kevin questions. We're saving them. It'll be in the next few months. Kevin will be back. But we're gonna do something special now. Kevin Smith, now I think officially the friend of the show. Is but also I've known Kevin. We've had some conflicts too.
Apparently, you've known him for a while.
I've known him for a while, but I'll say this: hasn't always been rosy. I think that when you reach a certain age, you just sort of it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But Kevin, I remember, was upset when not me, but Ron Wells, a writer from Film Threat who passed away a couple years ago. Tragically, he wrote a review of Dogma that was very critical. He broke it down from the religious standpoint, and Kevin actually called me at home to talk about the review. I said, I stand by his review. It's not my opinion, but whatever. In any case, the Dogma 25th anniversary trailer is here. It's from the Kevin Smith YouTube channel. I didn't know Kevin Smith had a YouTube channel. He has 559,000 subscribers. I'm going to sub right now, but here is the trailer for it to refresh your memory. And I'm going to talk about it on the other side. Here we go.
I can spot a commandment breaker from a mile away. Right there. There's one. Excuse me. Are you married? What do you think? To her?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, God has grown weary of your superficial faith. Hypocrites, charlatans, he has abandoned you to the whim of judgment. Prepare to taste God's wrath. 2 tickets to New Jersey, please.
Oh my God.
God's decree that I'm to charge you with a holy crusade. Stop a couple of angels from re-entering heaven.
We're going home.
If they get in, they'll unmake the world.
Right. So how do I know you're an angel?
As I was saying, you won't be alone.
More angels?
Prophets, in a manner of speaking.
You gotta be kidding me. Between guys with wings,
outstanding work.
Guys falling out of the sky,
Oh, that sucks.
and guys trying like hell to kill me. I'm ready to kick back and welcome the end of existence. The sign of a true Catholic. You're kidding.
Holy the whole of existence is in jeopardy right now. You're the one who's gonna help change that. Woman's body's your own fucking business.
Fill them pews, people. Hook them while they're young.
Kind of like the tobacco industry.
Christ, if only we had their numbers.
Snoogans.
So the film did get a brief re-release in theaters. It's now coming to 4K Blu-ray in a re-release. It's actually, as Kevin pointed out, the 26th anniversary. But because it came out in 1999. 1999 was a pivotal year in film. Fight Club came out that year. A lot of really amazing films. It was a banner year. So here's the thing. Why I'll defend Dogma. I know a lot of people go after it because of the religious aspects.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll just say. This is why Christianity is the best of all the religions. Because you can make fun of it. Because you can question it. And that's what people have done in film, on television, with humor. It's the only religion with a sense of humor, whereas other religions, you cannot make fun of them for fear of retribution. But you can make fun and question and even have something like a Buddy Christ action figure. Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, take that, flying spaghetti monster. No, it's true. Like I said, faith to me, faith is not something you just blindly have. You have to wrestle with it. Just like Jacob wrestled with the angel, you've got to wrestle with your faith. Otherwise, it's not a meaningful faith, or it's not as deep as you would imagine it could be.
Right.
And in that you risk losing it all. But that's kind of my journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear it, Alan. And we're going to leave it there for today. We went a little long. It's all good. We're going to bring Kevin back. I knew when it was like, yeah, we're going to do a Kevin Smith interview for half an hour. Yeah. Yeah. Atomic Lori's also informed me she saved the questions, including there were some non-soups that were very good questions. I think the entire show, it would take 3 hours for Kevin because he wants to be so thorough.
Well, he's a people pleaser.
He's a people pleaser. It explains a lot, but also want to remind people we have an early Black Friday sale. Go to shop.filmthreat.com for 10% off FT Ho Ho 10. And that'll wrap it up for us today. We will return on Monday on Versus. I'll probably still wear this. I'm going to wear this again.
Yeah.
I'm not changing. I'm going to keep wearing this. So that whether you like it or not. And I'm not washing it.
I don't know. Are the Zootopia people going to be upset if you wear that?
I don't care. I don't care. But that wraps it up for us today. Thank you, everyone, for your soups. Thank you for your other questions as well. We appreciate you. We will be back Monday with Versus, and next week we'll do an abbreviated Hollywood on the Rocks because of the holiday. Probably a shorter show on Friday as well for the holiday, but we're sticking with our schedule Wednesday and Friday. And we've got a great thing to discuss on Versus, the best Thanksgiving movies. We're doing it. We're doing it, Alan.
Can't wait.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I already have it in my head. I know what the best one is.
Well, we will debate on Versus, which is what we do. And there you go. So we will save your soups and questions. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting Alan and I. We'll be back next week. And Alan, what do you have to say? And Alan, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, let's get out of here.